Hey everyone, Alan Schimmel, DevOps.com, DevOps TV, here at our broadcast hub on the floor of Jenkins World. I have with me my good friend Sam Fell, the marketing man at Electric Cloud. All things marketing. Hey
Hi,
Sam,
Alan.
how are you?
I'm good. Good to see you.
Good to see you here, Sam.
Right on.
So Sam, you and I have probably spoken a half a dozen times on camera already, or whether it be at DUZ or DevOps Enterprise Summit,
Yep.
San Francisco, London, or here at Jenkins World,
Yep.
or a multitude of other places. But today for Electric Cloud here at Jenkins World, you guys put out a press release, some news.
Yep.
Why don't you share it with the audience?
Great. Thanks, Alan. So what we were hearing from our customers and from the folks that we were talking to in the field was they're getting the automation pieces worked out, all the kinks getting worked out, they're leaning out those pipelines. But what they were really lacking was for the business person, for the program manager, for the release manager, they were trying to understand what business value was getting shipped out the door with each one of these releases. And they had a lot of different processes by which they could try and figure that out. They would go into each one of their tools like Jira or into HP Quality Center, and they would pull information, they'd put it in a spreadsheet, and then when somebody said, hey, I want to know how release XYZ was doing, they would go look at the spreadsheet, correlate all the information together, and be able to give you an answer. Problem is, DevOps is about fast feedback, fast cycle times. It's a lot about automation. And so what we've released today is called DevOps Insight, and it is basically a BI analytics service that allows you to automate the grabbing of all this information from all these different tools, correlate it together for you, and give anyone who's looking for it a view of the business value that's part of that release. How many user stories are in release X? How many of those user stories have been completed? How many builds were done against those user stories? How often were those builds successful or not successful? What's the testing that's gone on about those? So that as you're moving faster, as you're delivering better software faster, it's important to understand what actually you're delivering, and we make it really simple for people to figure that out.
Absolutely. You know, Sam, to me though, this is so critical because it answers a fundamental issue that I get hit with in DevOps, and that I've asked Gene Kim, I've asked others, I've actually debated this point. Because for too long, it was the sort of speed kills in DevOps, right? I am doing 10 releases a day, you're doing only one release a day, therefore I must be doing better than you.
Right.
And now I'm doing 100 releases a day, so I'm better than him. And is it speed or size? Does size really matter? And I've always wondered, how can we quantify? How can we determine how, by releasing more often, are we really, as you know, the DevOps survey that Gene and the Dora
Puppet,
team do,
right?
Puppet
Yep.
do, does it really mean you're a high-performing IT team? Or does it just mean you release
A lot of activity, right. It could just be a lot of
Busy work.
activity. Yeah, exactly.
And this kind of puts the magnifying glass on
This
that.
helps, yeah, this helps to make sure when you're trying to do DevOps, going fast is obviously really good because you can be more agile. But if you're not shipping anything that's important, I mean, Gene Kim has a great saying is outcomes matter.
Yes.
Right? That's really what matters. You can go really, really fast, but if it's just busy work, if it's just activity, or worse, if you're breaking things as you do it, or you're creating negative value for people, if you're taking away a feature that somebody really likes or you're making it more cumbersome for them, that's not helpful. And so by giving a way to map the business outcome that you're looking for to the tooling that's providing that pipeline to deliver it into production, you're giving all the teams the ability to triangulate, where do I need to be spending my time? Is the things that I'm spending my time on worth it? Am I getting the value out of the activity that I'm doing? So that you can then say, okay, I can now start to estimate more effectively. Yeah. I can now understand when there are problems with a release, after the release, we'll tell you how many incidents were part of that release. So that you have this now ability to go back over the last year and say, it looks like when we're delivering features that are touching this component or these user stories that we're solving this problem, we are much more likely to have incidents in production. Why is that? And so having that information, having those metrics available, allow you to then further lean out your process and further get to the point where you're really delivering the value the right way and you're delivering the right value.
Sure. And I love the name DevOps Insights too. I love the Insights name.
Thank you.
But I really also think that this is a key maturation point for DevOps, right? Because, there's a point of, why do you do things? Because you can,
Right.
right?
Sometimes.
Animals, dogs,
Sometimes.
dogs. Um, but there comes a point where that's not enough. It can't be you just do it because you can.
Right.
You do it because, and I can point to why I do it.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to be a really big, especially when we're talking about how do I justify an electric cloud or a cloud bees or whatever, right?
Yeah.
How do I justify bringing this new tool set into our IT team? What's it going to mean for the bottom line? Don't tell me I'm going to release 10 times a day. That's fine and dandy. But what does it really mean?
What's the value that's in that release?
And what is it going to mean to us by releasing? What do I create another bottleneck, another resource constraint, right out of the goal at Phoenix?
Exactly.
What's the next repercussion of that?
That's right.
So that's excellent news, Sam.
Yeah,
Good
it's
stuff.
very
Good
exciting.
stuff.
We're really excited about it. We've talked about it with a bunch of analysts, with our advisory board, and with obviously lots of prospects they came to us. They said, "Here's something that we need. We're spending hours, and everybody's got their own way of sort of gathering this information, and so the information is suspect.
Yep.
The information is not delivered frequently enough. It's a sort of an ad hoc request that somebody has to drop what they're doing and go try and figure out how to triage that information, how to suck that information into some PowerPoint or some spreadsheet. And what we're doing is we're just automating that and making that problem go away for people, pulling that information automatically using all the plugins that we already have, just extending that interface to then not only control things like Jenkins, but to then suck the information out of Jenkins about which builds are being run in your pipeline and what user stories, comparing them to the Jira user stories that are triggering all this action from a person perspective. How is that manifesting itself through your pipeline and then ultimately with your customers?
Excellent.
Yeah.
Sam, as usual, the Electric Cloud boys are never sleeping.
Never sleeping.
No moss grows on those rolling stones.
Awesome.
All right, man. Hey, pleasure having you here.
Thanks, Alan.
All right, Sam Feld, Electric Cloud, here with us here at Jenkins World. This is Alan Schimmel for DevOps.com, DevOps TV. Thanks, everyone.